Kevin, another big game. Big games come thick and fast. Big game against one of your former clubs here, defending champions on Friday night.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. Massive game, even as I was talking to a couple of lads upstairs. The occasion that it's a good one because it's probably my favourite game. 4 games of the year, obviously with Dundalk not being in the league at the moment. I would have liked the Loud derbies as well, but it's the one I look forward to. So yeah, really look forward to it.
You say it's the one you look forward to most. What, I suppose, we'll get into the nuts and bolts of the actual game on Friday, but what does coming up against your former club and coming up against a club that I know you have massive fondness to, what does coming up against Shelbourne mean to you?
Look, there is that. So they're a long time and in a number of different roles, but and they tend to be good games. Like we've had some good games with them over the years. Probably since I took over and Damien took over, they've been really good. They've beaten us a few more times than we've beaten them, so it's something that we'll be looking to put right. But no, it just look. I mean, I'll be over the dugout and I'll know half of the people in the stand beside me the way support, so I don't get as much abuse from them as I would getting one. In fact, though, which is great. So no, I'd always have that fondness. But look, my priority is doing everything we can to try and beat them on Friday.
You go into the game top of the table. You played everybody now, and you're still top of the pile. I think I was here in around a month ago, and you're saying, look, it's just a good start. I imagine you're going to say similar enough stuff here, but you know, like you said, you've played everyone. You're top of the table. You're in a fantastic position. What do you put it down to?
Look, again, and probably give you the same answer. It is very early, but we're playing well. Was not doing anything overly drastically different over the last couple of weeks. We picked up good results. But probably the one game that we have been beaten. Rovers were Shamrock Rovers here, and we were probably unlucky. We missed a penalty in the 96th minute, so that would have even been another good thing. But I'm really happy with how we're playing, and again, it's a real old boring one, but it's the performances I'm happy with, because generally if you keep getting good performances, then you're going to pick up points. So no, look, things are going well at the moment. But to go back to what you said, it's a quarter of the way into the season, a hell of a long way to go before you start thinking about where you'll be or what you're looking to do. We have our own targets inside, and we just have to try and, again, cliche time, but take it game by game, and we have a big one on Friday, and something that we're really looking forward to.
You mentioned some big performances there and some big results. I suppose the one that stood out was when you went to Talca Park and won. Very tough place to go. It was only a few weeks after they beat you in the President's Cup. So you have the blueprint of beating Chelsea.
Yeah, and the last game, and it could be a very different game. Like, I mean, we score very, very early. Warren gets a great goal, obviously, after I think it was 3 minutes. So could be, you don't know how the game's going to go. It's going to be the exact same type of game we'd be liking to come out of the traps and start the way we started then. It'd be brilliant to do it again, but these things don't tend to happen too much. So no, look, it's really, really difficult game. I watch all the Sheld games now at this stage, but the game against Bow the other day, and I thought they were very, very good, really, really good. And again, it's not even talking about the table, but in this instance, just showing how they've picked up an awful lot of points as well, so that shows you that they're playing really, really well. They've signed really well. The off season, they've got stronger and stronger, and like as you say, they're the league champions. They're full of confidence, and we're going to have to be at our very, very best to get any result.
What's the mindset this week? I suppose the dynamic is a bit different because nobody really gave you a chance, with respect, when you went to Talca Park to play them early on in the season, whereas now you go into this one top of the table, like I said, having played everybody and got good results bar one against everybody else. So presumably the mindset is a little bit different to the last time you played Chelsea.
Well, our mindset was the same. It probably just the stuff around it or on the outside of it, I don't know. I mean, our last game we were 4-1 to win last week. Like, and again, I'm not talking. I'm using that as an example. I'm certainly not advocating gambling or anything like that. But no, people will always have their opinions. Our mindset is the same as it was going into Talca. We believed that we could go there and win the game, and obviously we believe that this week too. But I'm sure Damien will have the same thing. They've come up here, and I said it's always generally here they're very tight games, and I think we'll have to be, as I said, we'll have to be at our very best, but they'll have to be as well, because we're in good form, and as I said, we're playing with a fair bit of confidence as well. But again, it's something to really, really, really look forward to. It's Tuesday now, and 3 days away, but you can't wait to get up here on Friday.
You said that you believe you can win on Friday. Of course you do, because you're top of the table. Are you now expecting to win a game like this?
No, I wouldn't be expecting it, because there's so many things that can happen. Everything has to go your way. Even, I mean, like there's as I said, there's 3 days before then, different things happen, crop up all the time. But I've no reason to doubt that we won't have a good performance, because that's what the lads have been doing. But that doesn't mean that you don't work every bit as hard and you don't prepare every bit as well, because as I said, as soon as that whistle went against Derry, it was all about Shelbourne, and we were on the way back on the bus, myself and Dara and Tiernan, to be looking at the Shell stuff on the way home from Derry, like so. But again, we're not unique in that. Everyone does that, and Shelbourne would have been doing the exact same, and every other manager and coaching staff will be. So no, we just have to, as I said, can't take things for granted. We're going to have bad performance. We haven't had one yet, to be fair. We've, like as I said, I mentioned the one game that we lost, we were decent in against a very good Roverside. So we have had a lot of good performances, but you're going to get the odd game that it doesn't go your way for whatever reason, but we have to just try and make sure that doesn't happen. And we have to work as hard as we can this week in training to be prepared for Friday.
Just how high is belief around this place at the moment?
Good, yeah, it is. You can feel it. Again, you'll see and you'll feel the atmosphere here on Friday. It's like, for me, it's the best in the country. It's one of the smaller ones, but the atmosphere is absolutely brilliant. And what's happening here with probably, and I mentioned this to you, the improvements around the place. I mean, there's bars and there's stuff for people to do, and they tend to come to the games earlier, so the atmosphere is building area to be. The away end will be sold out as well. That certainly adds to it. It'll be a great atmosphere. The place will be buzzing, and then hopefully we can have a performance to match that.
What do you put this form and this run that you put together down to? Because obviously what you've done the 9 games, you want to repeat hopefully for the next 9 games.
It's just, I know this is a really simple answer. We're just playing well. Like, we've had our setbacks. We've had a lot of injuries in pre-season. We still haven't seen Alicia Hui or Douglas James Taylor, for instance, on the pitch. Now Alicia's back in the squad, which was great, and Dougie isn't far off. It's something that, to be fair, it's happening around the league. There's a lot of big players missing in probably every single team, so it's not we're far from unique in that. But it's honestly it's just training. It's working hard. It's preparing properly. Obviously, and I mentioned this to you the last time, the full-time aspect is certainly helping with the rest and recovery and all that type of stuff, particularly with the weekend that we're going into with a double weekend. But no, it's look, momentum is a big thing in sport and in football. It certainly is, and we've been probably since what I mentioned in on the 12th of July last year, we've been on a good run, and we managed to keep that going so far this season. But again, very early days. We just have to keep working every bit as hard, and we will. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And it's preparation, and it's not thinking for 1 minute that actually we're doing all right here. It's always having that, whether people call it a chip in the shoulder or whatever, about, and maybe using things that people have said about us or whatever it is. We just have to make sure that we keep doing that and have ourselves going into every game and not expecting to win, because I don't think you can do that, because other teams are very, very good in this league as well, but being prepared to do everything you can to try and win.
We're chatting to James there, and he used the phrase, we're grown to love and love and love defending. Obviously he's a defender, he loves defending. You're a former defender, you got the best defensive record in the league. We all know what good defensive records can do in this league if you can maintain that. But how important is it, and how much are the players enjoying that defensive side of things that have made you guys so hard to beat?
Yeah, it's great, and you're right, I love it, and it's tends to, as I said, the teams with best defence seem to do well. So a lot of people will talk about stats, and of course we look really deeply into a lot of stats, but one of the ones that obviously that it's jumping out at us at the moment is our possession, and having around, probably on average, around 30% possession in the games. Now again, would you rather you had the ball for 90 minutes and won 5-0? Yeah, of course you would, but it's something that you have to be comfortable in, because the way we set up that, as you say, you spoke to James, you've Conor Keeley, you've Andy Quinn doing really well, George Cooper, Aaron Harper-Bailey have stepped in there centre back, and not just mention the centre backs, you can go through the whole team, and probably our goalkeepers kept us more clean sheets than anyone else, I think, with Pats as well. But it really does, and again, without trying to stray too much into cliche, it starts at the front, like, and the work rate of, at the moment, with Warren and Thomas Alua is really setting the tone and setting the bar. And you look at us up even in our last game in Derry, or even in Tolka the last time, like, at times those two centre forwards are deep enough in our half, like, you know, and keeping that shape, and something that very had to drill down probably last year, but then obviously even with the new players coming into it this year. And it's not just about, everyone talks about the system, and probably more teams are playing it now as well. It's about how you work within it, like, you know, and it's about making sure that every hole is plugged really, and people would do their job on half of someone else's job, and there's always that cover, and there's that pendulum, and one goal and the next one over, and it doesn't always work. Like, we can see the poor goal in Derry the other night, and something that it was uncharacteristic of us, that we didn't get over it quick enough, and then we lose the header in the box. But it is defending is like, yeah, of course I love it, I'm a former defender, but we're lucky that we've myself and defender, Dara midfielder, and Tiernan as centre forward, so we have all bases covered. But no, it's a big part of the game, and as I said, if you're well structured, well organised, then the good thing for me is then if the whole squad are buying into it, and somebody comes in and instead of, like down in Cork, we were missing 2 of our centre halves, and yeah, we were able to change 2, so without really affecting the shape or the system or anything like that. So no, the players there are massive credit because they have to buy into it, and from what you say, James saying to you there, they certainly are, and I can feel that as well.
Just if you'd not that, you kind of answered a bit of this already, but how, as a manager, how much of a sweet spot is that when you have that total buy-in? Because I think, in fairness, Roddy Collins kind of touched on this in studio last week. He said so many teams in this league are trying to play the perfect game and the perfect football and passing, and that's all great. But if you look at, in particular, I suppose the two that stand out is yourselves and Galway know exactly what you're about. And like you said there, if everybody buys into it and everybody's playing and knows the system really well, as a manager, that must be like I said, there must be a really sweet spot.
Oh, absolutely. And again, every team in our league has their own way of playing, and no, I don't think anyone tries to copy anyone or anything like that, because you have to, probably comes from me and comes from the staff, and you have to have that belief and then try and impart that on the players, and for them to buy into it is incredible. And look, when you keep clean sheets and as you say, when we were picking up points, it's probably a bit easier. Like if we were doing it and getting beaten every week, then obviously we'd have to look at ourselves first. But and again, it's not to say it's perfect. Like as I said, we'll lose games as well. We have lost games, so it's not saying it's perfect by any means, but it's working for us, and it's something that we're very conscious of doing when we were trying to put the squad together, was that we had players that would be able to dip in and out at times and would be able to cover, and also would be able to compete, because generally if someone comes in and does well, they'll stay in. So, and the players know that as well. So luckily, as I said, everyone's going into a moment, things are going well, but a long way to go.
What will this place be like on Friday night? Of course, it's their first time here with the Virgin Media cameras. It's live on the telly. It's your first home game, and I suppose that's a reward for shows just exactly where you are this season. The place is going to be absolutely hopping. What's that mean, I suppose, for the town to have the game live here this week? Yeah,
it's brilliant. We're up here like a lot. We train some of the days now in Ratoath, most of the days in Ratoath, but we are up here 3 or 4 times this week, and you do feel it in town, and a lot goes back to the cup and everything. And I mean, that night when we came back after winning the cup was just brilliant for everybody. Like, it's been a long time coming, but you certainly won't be disappointed coming here on Friday. Can't guarantee what the actual game is going to be like. Hopefully it'll be good, particularly from our perspective, and a good game from your perspective, but you'll certainly get a good show from the supporters. They've been absolutely brilliant. Like, again, it's very easy for a manager to come on, or a player to come out and say, fans are great, and tweet this or Instagram this, but it's the truth with our lot. They're absolutely magnificent, and as I said, you won't be disappointed.
Just on the battle on the sidelines, you're up against Damien Duff. I suppose he's always been fairly respectful for you and the part you played, I suppose, in the Shelbourne story in those 18 years. How have you found him? Of course, such a high profile character. How have you found him to come up against and as
brilliant.
A person?
Yeah, brilliant. Probably getting old at this stage to say how much he's done for the league, but he has. He's been incredible, and for Shelbourne in particular. Like, I mean, we've obviously have our story here and how far we've come, but you see, and I know from personal experience how far that club has come, and he's been the man to really be the leader of it, and I know he'd be the first thing to say about his staff. He's really good staff with him as well, but no, he's excellent, and sometimes people will talk about Damien Duff because of the character, or because of the standing he has in the game and what he brings, but he's a brilliant manager, and I think that sometimes can be forgotten just because he can, as I said, it's Damien Duff, but he's an excellent manager, and you can see what his players think of him and what they do for him, and it's something that he's really done a brilliant job. Obviously, winning the league last year was unbelievable, and they've again bounced into this season in similar form. So again, it'll be a really good battle on Friday, and look, obviously both of us will be doing everything we can for our team to win, and that's that. But the amount of respect I have for him is unbelievable. Yeah.
Have you taken a bit of satisfaction this season about opposing managers maybe in the opposing dugout kind of scratching their heads trying to figure out how to break down this excellent system you have?
No, because again, like, I'll do my job, let them do theirs, but I don't think it's, as I said, that's probably giving us too much credit. I'm sure they know how to, like, every manager in this league is highly educated and highly qualified, and all really, really good managers as well. Like, I mean, there's only 10 Premier Division jobs in the country, so every single one of them, one manager in this league is a really good manager. So no, they'll have their own. As I said, it's probably, we're saying it now and it may be easy to say because we're doing well, but there'll be games when other managers will certainly get the better of me and other staffs and players. So we just have to say keep our heads on and just keep going the way we are.
If you beat Chelsea on Friday night, do the double against them, 10 games gone, you're still top of the table. Can we then start talking about it being more than just a good start?
You can talk about what you want, Bernard, and only a long time you can say what you want, but we certainly won't be. We're just, like I said, I mean, as I said, this weekend coming up, no matter what happened on Friday, whether we win, lose or draw, hopefully we win, and so we're doing everything we can to win, but we'll be in on Saturday morning preparing for Pants on Monday, so don't have time this league to even think about stuff like that. So look, as I said, hopefully does work out that way, and we do get the 3 points, but we know it's going to be a very difficult task.
We're looking forward to it. Best luck on Friday.
Thanks, Thank you.